And we're live.
Okay, we're live. Now, has anybody joined us?
It doesn't look like it. Not yet.
Okay. Let's mute Tara for right now.
Okay.
We're going to mute you, Tara.
Okay, that's fine.
Mute us or mute her.
Mute her, please.
Okay. But you can still hear us talk and
Yeah,
see us.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just making sure.
So now we're just waiting to see if any students got the link to join us.
It's so weird because they were all typing in, but it said we had no viewers, which didn't really make much sense.
Yeah, that didn't make sense at all.
I registered and it still isn't working. It's just a black video that says this live event will begin in a few. Oh, we have a viewer. Oh, we can see it now.
Yay!
Woo!
Okay.
Yay, we have 2 viewers.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure what happened. We had actually killed that one webinar we were doing. We were having some trouble getting on. Google kept crashing, and unfortunately, I don't know how many other people will get the message, get the email, but we are recording it, so that's the good news. And we'll probably schedule another just Q&A session for people since we had so much trouble with this one. But we'll do this one. So who tell us your names, who's on?
Right now we have Brittany, we have Ryan, Catherine, and Elizabeth.
All right, good. All right, well, listen, we're going to get started, okay, guys? And so you obviously know how to use the live chat, which is great. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll record this video, so this webinar. And so don't type any curse words into the live chat, okay? No, we know these names. They wouldn't do that. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and give the webinar, give you guys a chance to ask some questions. And then what we'll probably do is we'll post the webinar recording, and then we'll have another just open Q&A session before the summer starts, just to help people, okay? So I'm Bill Quain, and this is the introduction webinar for HTMS 4970, which is internship. And this is the very first time we're offering an internship or co-op course in the summer, which is just fantastic because we have, I think, 34 people, 34 people register for summer internship. And this is the very first time we did it. So that's a lot of people. And that's a great sign that we're really hitting the market. Now with me tonight, we have Tara Marsh, who's our internship coordinator. We'll unmute her in a second to let her introduce herself. But we're trying to keep our technology as simple as possible right now because we've had some challenges tonight. And then we also have in my office here with me, Amanda Inza. Amanda, why don't you stick your head in there and show people?
Hello.
And Amanda is my assistant, as you know, along with Megan Davies. And Amanda runs my technology for this. Great job, by the way, in getting us back online here, Amanda. You kept your head. You did a great job.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do is, how about this? I'm going to run through just a 10 or 15 minutes worth of stuff, and then you guys ask questions. But don't be afraid to type in questions or comments as we're going along. And Amanda will read them to me, and we'll answer them for you. But as we go through this, keep in mind that all of the issues having to do with the forms and all that kind of stuff, and any questions you might have, you can always contact Tara Marsh, and we're going to give you her office extension here and her email address, so she can help you because she's the internship coordinator. So she's going to work with you, with me, and with your employers to help you out here. All right, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a little PowerPoint show here and do some screen sharing. And don't be afraid to ask questions, type them in as we go along, because since we had this technical difficulty, we have a much smaller group right now, and so the more questions you ask, the more it will help people who are watching this recorded. And you'll read the questions to me, so because that doesn't always show up in the recording. Okay, here we go. So let's start with our first slide here.
All right, I just have to share screen.
Okay, we're going to share screen. We're right on the very edge of technology here. We're actually using Google Hangouts and an interface called Webinar Fusion Pro that makes it supposedly easier to use. I'm not sure it did tonight. All right, so what do we have here for our first slide, Amanda?
It just introduces the course, its number, and the dates we have it.
Okay, so the dates of this course for the summertime are May 16th, which, believe it or not, is just about 3 weeks away. I think it's 3 weeks from this coming Monday. And it goes till July 27th. So you got about 10 and a half weeks there of the course. All right, should we go to our next slide then, please?
Yes. Next, we have the link to typepad.com.
Okay, now here, this is really important. If you have a chance to make a note for yourself right now, great. If not, don't worry. We're going to send out an email with this link in it. This is the internship website that Amanda and I and Tara put together, and it contains all the forms you're going to need. It's got helpful hints. As a matter of fact, we'll probably put the recording of this webinar on there so people can watch it from there. But let's go to that. Let's go to that page, Amanda, and we're just going to show people everything that they have there, that we have there. And we put quite a bit of work into this, but we're still working on it. So, so when you did it come up?
Yep, we're on the home page.
So when you're on, it's quain.typepad.com/internship. And what it is, TypePad is actually a blog site. And I learned a little while ago that you can make great websites out of blogs. And I have unlimited numbers of blogs I can create with this this TypePad account here. So what you're going to do is you read the introduction in the middle of the screen there, and then over on the right you'll see something called categories. And what we do is we separate all this stuff into clickable links. And so, Amanda, how about just reading down the names of the categories there?
Sure. Our first one is 1.1 required employer forms.
Okay.
Sample affiliation agreement.
All right. So required employer forms. There's three forms that employers are going to do. There's affiliation agreement. There's the learning contract, and there is the employer evaluation that they do. Mm-hmm. And so, what we do is we have samples of them there, and they're also downloadable. So you can download them, print them out, give them to your employer to fill out. If you have any questions, you get in touch with Tara Marsh, and because she's the one you're going to turn these forms into, and we'll explain a little bit more about them tonight as we go through.
We also have the student waiver form.
And the student waiver form, this is really important. You need to fill this out right away. Matter of fact, as soon as you get finished watching this, download that student waiver form, fill it out, and send it to Tara by email. Okay?
And then after that, it says we have our summer internship 2016 and our learning interaction reports under the same category.
Okay, so summer internship 2016, what do we have in there? We have just
I think that's where this webinar is going to go.
We'll put this webinar there, yeah.
And the PowerPoint, and then under that is the learning interaction report.
The learning interaction report. This is something new we're starting because an internship, we want to connect what you've learned in school to what you're doing on the job. So we'll talk about this in a little bit. But this is a not really a log, but whenever you come across something at work on your internship that is connected to something you learned about in class, you're just going to make a note about it. And you're going to present that. You have to come up with, during the course of your work, 10 things that you noticed you learned that had something to do with what you learned in class and how you use it at work. Okay.
And then we have permission of instructor.
Permission of instructor. Well, that's you guys already got that, so we don't have to worry about that one.
And then we have a separate category for Tara Marsh, internship coordinator.
So this is see that where it says Tara Marsh. By the way, what's the number on that?
6.1.
6.1. That has all of Tara's contact information there, so you can get a hold of her, email her, that sort of thing.
And then we have the 7.0 categories, which are the webinars from this semester.
Oh, yeah. So this spring semester, we did a bunch of webinars where our students did student tours, and we record all the webinars, so they're up there, so you can kind of see what some of the other students have done on their jobs.
And then it also, within those categories, we have instruction videos on how to present your tour and to present PowerPoint.
Oh, yes, yeah. So some instructional videos there will really help you in the class.
And those are all, oh no, the 8.1 we have are the internship FAQs.
Oh, yeah.
Students.
I tried to go through and write FAQs in there for you, but you know, you're going to have more. And so whenever you have a question, I think they can go into that FAQ section and actually add a comment there.
Yeah, they can.
So you can. So don't be afraid to go there and ask more questions, so we can build up this FAQ section for everybody.
As long as they sign in with Facebook, Twitter, or a Google account, I believe.
Yeah, you got to sign in with Facebook, Twitter, or Google, and then you can leave comments there, which is pretty cool. And
then we have our 9.0 section, which was the internship final project and student work tours. Yeah, so for you guys, this is what you're going to do a final project and you're going to do a student work tour. We're about to explain that all to you. But again, here's instructions for you, you know, forms, that kind of stuff. Try to make it as easy as possible for you because this is an online class. And those are all the categories. Okay, those are the categories. So let's go back to our PowerPoint show. And how about, does anybody have a question after what we've seen so far? Just the tour of the website. We'd be happy to kind of address that right now. So anybody has anything they want to type in, we'll take that right now. Anything? Nope. Anything? Okay, no. Okay, no problem. All right, so let's go with the slideshow here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to explain to you the calendar for the course for this summer and the requirements for the course. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. We do have questions. Okay, what's the question we have? Catherine says, so can I share this URL with my boss? Absolutely. We wanted to make that URL at quain.typepad.com/internship. By the way, great question, Catherine. We want to make this for the employers as well so that they will know what's going on. I'm glad you asked that question because I forgot to mention it. And then Ryan asks, just to confirm, I'm planning on using my current job for the internship. Is that okay? Yes, it is okay, Ryan. You can use your current job for the internship, and I'll tell you why, because this isn't necessarily to force you to get a new job. This is for you to get a deeper experience with the job, even if you already have one. So as you go into this internship portion now, you're going to get deeper experience with that job, and you're going to do a management project for this class. So we're gonna be working together here. So yeah, it's perfectly okay to use the job you already have. Okay, those are our only questions. So you want me to go to the next slide? Yeah, let's go to our next slide then, please. Okay. So is this the calendar? Yes. All right. So here's our schedule. So Amanda, nice and loud, if you could read me through this, and we'll talk about this, guys. Sure. For week 1, the waiver and affiliation agreement are due on May 16th. And that will be the week of the welcome webinar. Yeah, so we're going to have a welcome webinar. On the welcome webinar, we're going to teach you how to do some other things. Again, remember, folks, all these webinars I'm doing are going to be recorded. So we'll announce to you what time they're going to be. But if you can't be live, don't worry. We'll record it for you. And we'll put the links on this quain.typepad.com/internship. We'll also put it on the internship Blackboard page too. Okay, so you have them in both places. Week 2 is the first webinar we'll be having with overcoming time poverty. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a couple of webinars here of topics I think you need to know about in terms of making money and working. Okay, so the first one is overcoming time poverty. It's going to be about a 45-minute webinar. There'll be a quiz on it. Again, I'm going to record it. You watch it anytime that week, and you answer the quiz questions.
you'll be fine. It's interesting stuff. It talks about how to achieve more by working less, and it comes from one of the books I wrote.
And then week 3 is the Money Talks webinar.
Yeah, it's another book I wrote called Money Talks. I'm going to actually send you a copy of this book. It's a relatively short book. It's I don't know, like 110 pages, something like that. And it's what happened was I got tired of guessing about stuff, so I actually went and I found Money, and I interviewed Money and talked to Money about how to have more of him. And so I'm going to share that with you folks. That's a book. That's the only book you're going to have to read this summer for this class.
And then week 4 is the Rich Dad, Poor Dad webinar.
Yeah, there's a great Rich Dad, Poor Dad thing. It's going to be another short webinar, a half hour or so, 40 minutes. And I'll record it. You can watch it live if you want. There's no book to read for it. It's just some interesting stuff on creating wealth. One of the reasons you're working is to create wealth. And so I'm going to give you some things that'll help you with that.
And then within this week, by June 10th, the student work tours are due.
Yes. Now, we're going to talk to you about your student work tours. So in week 4, they're going to be doing, and basically I'm going to tell you what they are. You're just going to make a little video about where you work. Now, you can take PowerPoint, you can take pictures, put them on PowerPoints, do a talking, slideshow if you'd like. As long as you produce a video, you can put up on YouTube. And it's you're going to just give us a tour of where you work, what you do, and 3 things that you've learned in school that are useful on your job or have brought some attention to your job. So we'll talk more about that, but very simple. You can just walk around with a video camera if you want, and do it that way. There's all kinds of ways to do that. Okay, and by the way, you're going to have to watch these are going to be limited to 10 minutes, and you're going to have to watch over the course of the summer. I think 10 other or 12 other 12 work tours that other students do. So I want you to start build up a library here of what our students are doing.
And then week 5 is the midterm checkup webinar.
Yeah, midterm checkup. I'm going to be on there. It'll be a Q&A type of thing. We'll check and see how people are doing. Again, it'll be recorded. If you can make it live, great. If not, and we may even have a way, I think we will do, Amanda, let's have a way for them to send questions in ahead of time. So in case they're not going to be live with us, you and I can answer the questions online.
Definitely.
That's a great idea. I like that idea.
Before I continue with the schedule, Catherine asks, am I filming my workplace? What if they don't allow me to? Can I just make a video at home in that situation?
Yeah, it takes some, if it's a problem, Catherine, like maybe, are you working for the CIA? Or maybe you're a foreign spy. I don't know. But anyway, we'll work around that. You're just going to, do a video, can you get some pictures or even make a slideshow and talk about your job, that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of ways to work around that. Okay, no problem.
Week 6, 7, and 8 are four student tour quizzes due.
Yes, so when you do your tour, you're going to write a little quiz about it, and we're going to show you how to post that. And then if somebody chooses your tour to watch, they're got to submit. You're got to answer 4 quizzes or something like that.
Yes.
I forget what we said, but we'll talk about that in a second. It's going to be easy stuff. We're just trying to keep you involved with each other here.
Catherine just replied saying the YMCA. It's the YMCA, so the security and
yeah, no, you're right, Catherine. So yeah, we'll work something out with you, no problem. Okay.
And then
that's a sensitive thing. Very good.
Brittany asks, I am doing my internship with an event planner as her personal intern working from her house. Should I film me at her house?
Well, that might be sensitive too. Maybe you could take a pictures of some events being set up or something like that. Or the other thing you can do, Brittany, is maybe there's some software you work with. So do some screenshots of the software you work with. We just want you to tell us kind of what you're doing. These are great questions, by the way, guys. Oh, you're really helping out by asking these questions.
Week 9 is final project prep week.
Yeah, so we're not going to have anything going on in week 9. You get a chance to prep up your final project there.
And then week 10 is final projects are due.
Yeah, so you're going to, now, let me just talk a little bit about your project. your project has to be a management level or executive level project. Now that could be all kinds of things. We're going to show you some examples of that. You're going to make a little video presentation about your project. Now you're not going to share the project findings with us. I mean, because what you might be doing, might have to do with the accounting system where you work or something like that. You're going to make a little video about what you did, why it was important to the company you work with, and what you learned from doing it, and what you were able to apply from what you had learned in your classes towards doing it. So it's not going to be like you're not going to reveal all the details of the project itself. You're just going to talk about what you did. Okay.
And then week 10 is the final products are due.
Final project due in week 10.
Yep.
Okay?
So next.
And we have a template for you that you're going to love to present them on.
Yes. The next is there will be 5 webinars.
Yeah, there'll be 5 webinars, and we kind of went over them, and so and listen, if it's starting to get to be too much, I mean, it is summertime. Remember, you can watch these things at any time. I'll keep them short, just to add a little interest, here for you, and stay connected with you. Okay.
The next is the affiliation agreement side.
All right, so let's talk about some of the forms that you need to get. The first thing is called the affiliation agreement, and this is really important. And we're going to unmute Tara in a second here, because these have to go to Tara. Now it's kind of a contract that says that the company recognizes that you're taking a school class, and that they won't. There's the thing there about not sexually harassing people. And they're just, it's like a contract. In other words, there's certain. As a state university, there's certain standards that we live by, and so kind of your boss has got to do the same thing. The affiliation agreement is good for 3 years, and so if your company you're working for has had an intern recently from HTMS, they may already have one in effect. If your boss has any questions about it, they can contact Tara Marsh, and she'll walk them through it. It's very easy to do. I mean. Listen, even Disney signed one of these, so that's so, and they're very strict about this kind of stuff. So, and we've been doing this for years. It's just an agreement we have to have. Okay, that's the affiliation agreement. And if you want, more on that, go to www.quain.typepad.com/internship. You can see the affiliation agreement there. And please don't be afraid to email Tara Marsh. She'll walk you through it. Tara, do you have any comments about the affiliation agreement?
You just have to unmute yourself first, Tara.
Just unmute yourself, Tara.
No, I actually don't. And I guess the only thing would be is if you're unsure, if maybe you're in an internship that somebody has been in before, you can always check with me to see if we actually have an affiliation agreement already on file, because 3 years. So even if that's another selling point to say to your employer is if they want to have another intern because you yourselves work out so well, they will have this affiliation with us for 3 years before anything needs to be renewed.
Great, thanks, Tara.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a question from Catherine.
Sure, Catherine.
I spoke with my boss today, and she already gave me an idea for a project. They received a grant to develop a swimming program for 75 underprivileged children in the local area. Would working on and implementing this project be acceptable, or do I have to come up with my own separate project?
No, that's good. That's good. And see, there's another example where you don't have to give us all the facts from that. When you report on your project, you're going to tell us about the project, and what skills that you had from school that you were able to apply to that, and what things you learned, and what impact it had on your organization. Okay?
And then the next slide
Great
is
questions.
the student waiver.
Student waiver. This basically says that if something goes terribly wrong, that Bill Quain, Tara Marsh, and Amanda Hinza are not responsible. So you've got to have that student waiver in. Get that done as soon as you get off the webinar here. You fill that out and email. What you do is you print it out, fill it out, scan it, and send it back to Tara. Okay.
Brittany just asked, will our webinars, quizzes, and assignments be on Blackboard or TypePad?
They will be on. Well, we'll put them on both places.
Yeah, the webinars should be on TypePad and the quizzes on Blackboard.
Yeah, well, the quizzes will be definitely. Well, the way we're going to do the quizzes is we're going to send you a Word document with quiz questions on it, and you're just going to scan that. You're just going to fill them out and post them to Blackboard.
That's for the student tours, though. But what about for the reading tours?
Same thing. We'll send you. We'll just send you a Word document to download, and you can then just post it back to Blackboard. Okay.
The next slide is learning contract.
Learning contract. This is something that I sign, your boss signs, and you sign. Basically, it's going to have two things on it that we're concerned about here. One's your job description, because we want you to be working someplace where you have a job description, or it doesn't have to be a detailed job description, but something you and your boss kind of understand that you're going to be doing. And also, we want you to describe your project briefly. It doesn't have to be real detailed. That way, everybody knows what you're working on. It's a very simple form, and we never have any problem with those. Okay. Again, it's on TypePad. You can download it. We'll probably put these forms up on Blackboard as well to make it easier for you, so you get them in both places. You can download them, print them out, have your boss sign it, and send it to Tara, and I'll sign it in Tara's office. Okay.
And then the next slide is employer evaluations.
Yeah, your employer evaluation at the end of the summer session. Your employer is going to fill out an evaluation for you, and this will count towards part of your grade.
Well, we have 2 employer evaluations.
We're just going to do one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, do one in the summertime. I think. Yeah, I think we'll probably just do one.
Okay, so ignore the first date. Just keep the
Oh,
second
did we?
date.
Yeah.
We put first one for June 17th.
Well, you know what? Leave that there for right now. Since this is a smaller session, I mean, maybe I was so. Leave that there for right now.
Okay, so there will be 2.
Will be 2 as of right now. Yeah. That way, you get some feedback from your boss. Remember, it's better to get feedback than food back.
The next slide is learning interaction report.
Learning interaction report. We briefly touched on this. This is a form that Amanda made up this afternoon. We just want you to jot down. When something comes up at work. For example, suppose you had been in my baby foods class, and you learned how to do some things with the point of sale system, and your boss was wondering about, is there any way to figure out which menu items were selling the most, that kind of stuff, and you said, well, yeah, I knew how to do that, and so you write down, well, guess what, I was able to use this, or maybe there's a conflict at work and you had something in HR, or maybe an accounting thing. We just want to kind of get an idea from you of, are you coming up with stuff that at work that you've learned about in school?
Brittany just asked, do we give the evaluation to our employer, or does it go through you and Tara Marsh?
No, you give it to your employer, and have your employer fill it out and then email it to Tara. Okay. These are great questions. And by the way, we have a syllabus we're going to be sending to you before the class starts, and it'll explain everything. And I know this sounds like, when we're talking about here, it sounds like a lot of stuff. We really have it set up for you, so it's going to be not much work at all to do this, other than the work you're doing.
Ryan asks, would my boss send it to Tara, or would I send it to Tara?
No, your boss sends it directly to Tara.
And then Catherine asks, if I'm a double major, will I be able to use instances from courses outside of HTMS for the learning interaction report? Yeah. Why not? And then student work tours is the next slide.
Okay, student work tours, again, we touched on this. This is basically going to be a little tour. And now, again, was it Catherine that worked at the Y?
I believe so.
Yeah. Obviously that's going to be a sensitive area, because you can't have pictures of any kids there, and there's security things. So, we'll work with you on that. But for the most people, it's a pretty simple thing. You just take some pictures at work. And we're really interested in learning what you do, what kind of technology you come in contact with, and, is there anything you've had in classes that you're using on the job? And it's just kind of the thing, it's kind of interesting for people. You're going to write up 3 quiz questions, I guess, about your tour. And if
5 quiz questions.
5 quiz questions about your tour. And if somebody, when you submit it, but it's very easy to do. Listen, I don't want these things over more than 10 minutes. Okay, so don't go crazy. I mean, don't make the next great documentary.
And use Screencast-O-Matic to capture it.
Yeah, use Screencast-O-Matic if you want to do PowerPoints. In the welcome video we're going to do in the first week, I'm going to show you how to use Screencast-O-Matic.
And remember to be positive.
Oh yes, this is really important, guys. For anything that you do in either your final report or your job tour, these videos, they're going to be on YouTube, and so never say anything negative. Okay, this is all positive stuff you're saying here. Okay, we had this past semester, we had some students, we didn't have that rule in place, and we had to edit out some stuff from their videos.
The next slide is internship executive level project.
Yeah, so your project, this gives some examples there, doesn't it?
No, that's the next slide.
Oh, okay. So your project, remember, you have to work 225 hours on this internship, but 25 of them can be your project. So you really don't have to work 200 hours, which over the course of 11 weeks in the summertime, you should be able to do. Listen, if you're having trouble, you're getting close, this and that, give me a call. We'll help you work something out. But this project is something that you and your boss are going to agree on. It doesn't have to be right in the beginning of the semester you agree on. It could be a little bit, a couple weeks into the thing. It's going to be a project you're going to do that's going to help the company that you're working with. In other words, you're going to add value to them. So you might be a server on your job, but you're going to do a project that's more executive level, so it has something that a manager would do. Okay. Now, for example, again, I can't remember who said, but it was Catherine. Maybe talk about the why. Catherine, are you the one from the why that's doing the why? Can you give me a yes in the live chat if that's you, or whoever it was?
I'm scrolling back up to see, and
Who?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. So Catherine was saying about this swimming program, and I mean, maybe somebody's asking themselves, well, is that really hospitality? It sure is. I mean, you've got people coming in, you're running events. So the why is a good example of hospitality. You're checking people in and out, of all these programs and that kind of stuff. It's a tourism type of thing. This is really good. So working on that project is a great project. And maybe your company's got a question. Maybe they're thinking, we never had time to do this. Well, maybe you do that for them. Okay.
Brittany says, do we have to provide some type of proof that we are working 225 hours? My internship is unpaid, so I won't have a pay stub.
You just get a letter for me from your boss. Okay, so verifying that if you wouldn't mind. That takes pressure off of me. I mean, will and Tara. We just want to make sure that you're doing. By the way, is it Brittany that asked that question?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, Brittany? What kind of internship are you doing?
I believe she was the one working from her.
Oh, doing the meeting planning.
The event planning.
The event planner.
I believe.
Okay.
Let me double check.
Yeah. You're the event.
Yes,
you're the
she's
event
the
planner.
event planner.
Yeah. So get her to document it for you. Okay. Thanks.
And then the next slide is examples of executive level projects.
Yeah, so here's some examples of executive level projects, and would you read a couple out loud there, please, for me?
Sure. We have training programs, cost-cutting studies, promotional videos, social media campaigns, website development and app development, training manuals, and report generation.
Yeah, so for example, this semester we have Eddie Sunday working out at Pinelands Brewery, and they have people come through Pinelands Brewery, brewing company, but they didn't have a video that people could, watch when they first came into the brewery there to see how everything. So he made a video for them of the brewing process, which is something they really wanted to do, which they really needed, but they didn't have time to do it themselves, and so Eddie did that for them. So there's all kinds of things that people could do.
Catherine asks, do the 25 hours for the project have to be on paid time, or can I work on it off the clock and have my boss sign off on my hours?
That's exactly right. That's a great question. Catherine, I'm just going to next time you're just going to do the webinar. Or at least you're going to remind me of everything to say. This is great. The 25 hours do not have to be paid time. So like, let's suppose you're a server, but you do a 25-hour project, and listen, I'm going to trust you. If you're doing an executive level project that you and the boss and I agree on, you're going to be working 25 hours on it. So, don't worry about that. Okay. But yes, that's a great question. Does not have to be paid.
The next slide is your project presentation.
Yeah. So the way you're going to present your project is you're going to do a little video about it. How long do we say it's no
7 to 9 minutes.
Yeah, 7 to 9 minutes. And you do it with Screencast-O-Matic or whatever. We'll show you how to do that. Screencast-O-Matic, basically, you make up PowerPoints, you put them on your computer, you open up Screencast-O-Matic, and you talk and change the PowerPoint size, and it records it, makes a nice little video out of it. And what you're going to do is you're going to present. We're going to send you a template, and you're going to actually plug your project video and your student tour video onto this with a few other things that you'll type in. Very easy presentation. Bingo, bango, bongo. It's done. Okay, so yeah, bingo, bango, bongo is a golf tour term, but or actually a North Jersey term probably. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be very easy to do. Again, we're going to give you the full template to use. Amanda just made this up. It's just really great.
And then that's the end of the presentation.
Okay. So look, guys, I know this sounds like a lot, but let's think about it for a second.
Do you want to put it back on you?
Yeah, put it back on me. First of all, Tara, do you have any comments on this, Tara?
No, I actually do not. There's been a lot of great questions, so that's good. That's what we want to see, and that's what we want to hear. I'm here for you guys, obviously, when it comes to the side with the affiliation agreements, the student waivers, the learning contracts. In fact, some of you I know that are even on this webinar right now have already gotten me some of that paperwork, so that's great. If you haven't already, obviously you know when that stuff is due. And I'm here all the time. I'm here Monday through Friday, and I'm always reachable by email. So if there is a concern or something that you can't get with Professor Quain or whichever, please don't hesitate to contact me. That's why I'm here for you guys.
Great, Tara, thanks. And folks, listen, I know we covered a lot of ground here tonight. Here's the things that are hard for you. One, you got to get the learning contract signed and get that back to us. And that seems like a big deal. Listen, use Tara for that. Let her contact your boss directly for you. That's what she does, okay? And she's good at it. So don't let that be a burden to you, okay? Your student waiver, well, you can do that standing on your head. Just print it out, sign it, scan it, send it to us, or send it to Tara. Excuse me. So this preliminary stuff, just get it done. It's easy. The learning contract. Get your boss to give you some job description type thing, staple it to it, or well, you can't scan it that way, but or drop it off at school in Tara's office, if you want. And it's going to be, so you're going to do these things, right in the very beginning, and we can do it all electronically, so it's not a problem. And then you're going to watch a few recorded webinars and answer a couple of simple questions, but you're going to like the stuff we talk about. It's pretty easy. You're going to do a tour, which is a 10-minute tour, no big deal. You got 10 and a half weeks to this. You're going to do a 7-minute video about the project you worked on, and you're going to fill out a little journal there that talks about when you came across some things this learning interaction report or something like that.
Yes, and Ryan actually asked what the LIR was again, so that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it is, Ryan. It's a little form that Amanda made up for us. It's going to be posted. It's already posted on quain.typepad.com/internship. We're going to post it on Blackboard for you as well. And all you're going to do is, open it up in Word, and over the course of the summer, just, I think you have to report, 10 incidents, so when you realize, hey, wait a second, I learned this. And it's very easy. So we really try to make this about you working and not trying to put a lot of classroom pressure on you, that kind of stuff. But we want to have a few things that would give you some interest, you know, because you're paying money for this course, and we want to do added value for you.
Catherine asks, are there any specific requirements the project must hit other than being a manager level project?
The question is any Catherine, and the reason I'm repeating this is because sometimes when we do the recording, you can't see the questions on the side there.
Mm-hmm.
So Catherine's asked, is there any specific things about the project that it must hit on other than being a management level? No. I mean, it's got to be something to do with hospitality in your job. But I mean, you know, no, besides that. And we'll agree on that. In other words, you know, you and I and your boss will agree. And that may not occur till the second week in the semester, you know. So don't stress that one.
And there's no more questions.
No more questions. I can't believe it. Well, you guys were great asking these questions. Listen, I know this was a lot to get around, but you know, it really is. Once you get those forms filled out, everything else you're just pretty much just working, watching some videos, you know, and taking a couple little quizzes on the videos. It's really not a big deal. You only have to make 2 videos. One's your work tour. One's about your project. And again, it doesn't have to be all that detailed. It's just got to tell us that, you know, what you learned in it and that sort of thing. So it's pretty simple stuff. Okay. Well, how we doing for time? Oh, we started so late. Who knows what time? So yeah, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties at first. We're here for you. And
Brittany had one more question.
oh, Brittany, yeah, go ahead.
She said, so we should get our project approved by you before we start it.
Yeah, but again, I mean, unless it's something like, you know, studying Himalayan mountain gorillas, you know, and you're not working in the Himalayas as a tour guide, you know, we're going to approve it. So it's yes, but and when you say get it approved by me, this is a very low level approval. I mean, we're just going to say, hey, that's a great idea, or did you think about this and as well? Because this is really about helping your company with something that they really like you to do. Okay, I know Megan Davies, my other assistant there, when she was an undergraduate, she was working in event services here at Stockton, and she did a training program on how to use Camtasia to edit videos because the interns over there a lot of them didn't know how to do that, and that was her project, you know, pretty simple. Okay. Questions going once? Questions going twice? Hey guys, it's the summertime, you know, I want you to enjoy yourself and have a great work experience.
Oh wait, we have one last question.
One last question, okay.
How detailed does the job definition have to be? Are you looking for the generic job description headed to us at the interview or handed to us at the interview, or one written specifically including the project?
Great question. No, it's just something that's the generic one for your job, you know? I mean, if you're going to be a server, for example, you know, whatever the job description is for servers, and it doesn't have to be, listen, some of the places you're going to be working may not have formal job descriptions. We just want an understanding of what your duties are going to be, so that you don't get into this job and, you know, find out it's something completely different. Okay?
That's it.
All right, guys. Looking forward to spending the summer with you. Get plenty of beach time, too, okay? Don't work the whole summer. Bye.